open the meeting for Monday, June 26th. Entertain a motion to accept the agenda as may be amended.
Moved.
Need to move anything?
I'm good.
Okay. All in favor of the agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
And we have a bunch of minutes here.
I'm going to go through Monday, June 5th.
Yep.
It was Chris and myself with a TIF conversation, Monday, June 5th at 3 p.m. I don't see any changes here
No.
since it was an executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I wasn't there, but I'm voting anyway.
Select Board meeting, June 12th, 2023. It was
Yeah,
Steve,
that was the
myself,
regular
and
meeting.
Chris.
Yep.
Regular meeting. I didn't see anything in here.
I didn't see anything. All in favor of June 12th? Please say aye.
Aye.
Special, can they hear us, or?
Yeah. The issue is the camera just keeps kicking out.
Thursday, June 15th, all three of us were in. Executive session, personnel, nothing was taken, no action was taken. Motion to approve.
June 15th, please say aye.
Aye.
19th?
June 19th, all three of us here again. It was executive session, fire department personnel that time, no action was taken.
All in favor of June 19th?
Aye.
And 20th.
Tuesday, June 20th, all of us were here, and it was executive session for fire department personnel, no action was taken at that meeting.
Okay, all in
Great.
favor of June 20th, please say aye.
Aye.
Any select board member concerns?
Just in this little storm that we had here, if you go up towards the old chalet Killington, all the rocks and everything were straight across, like a
Washed
5-foot.
across?
Okay.
It might get to a point where the town is just pave the first 20 feet and end it,
Gotta do something with it.
instead of putting a guy, I'm fixing it.
Okay. My only question was the space between the library and the tennis courts. And Chet told me that's a staging area for the work they're doing on the culvert on Route 4. It's not a new house going in. It's just where they're keeping their materials and stuff.
And I'm told that they had done that back in Irene also, it was
Yep.
already a driveway.
It was already set up that way, so, and it's a temporary situation, it'll be,
And it is for the work that V-Trans is doing.
yes, and
Not
the state of
the
Vermont.
town?
And, yes, and
No,
the state of
it's
Vermont
yeah.
approved that as a site for them to use. They had wetlands out there, and that's why they have their,
They got their fencing around it.
yeah.
I just, as you bring up that subject, I think it's something we should look at in time, because we are gonna have construction going on here, and we should have approved sites.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
I don't wanna look at another pile like I did years ago next to Charities of Millings, okay? And at the same time, like, you know, possibly even the back, I did the same, with the same group that's doing that work there. They've taken a back corner of the Pickle Barrel lot.
Yep.
And I would suggest that we should even talk to the resort, maybe the Wobbly Barn in the future down low, just so we don't have to look at all this stuff, because we're gonna need staging as we move forward.
Right.
So just something to think
Not a
about.
bad idea at all.
Yeah, just so, you know, just come up with some approved areas.
We
It's,
could, as we're moving around, look at some sites.
Yeah.
Bring them in to
yeah,
discuss.
just say they're in there.
Well, the resort said we can use in the summer up until whatever, December,
Yeah, the,
Sky Ship.
Sky Ship
They
parking lot.
let everybody use down there. V-Trans is using that right now, so,
To work on the bridge, yeah.
to work on the bridge, but they'll be out of there this
Yep.
year.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, between the people that are zoomed in and all of you here, is there something that you want to bring up that's not already on the agenda? Dan?
Yes, I have a concern.
Okay.
My concern as a citizen of Killington is the transparency of the select board in hiring the new town manager and the lack of communication you have had between the people of Killington. According to the website, humanresourcesvermont.com, while not required, agencies and departments are encouraged to post exempt openings using VTHR. In the past, a committee of Killington residents have interviewed candidates for the position of town manager. For the hiring of this new town manager, there was no citizen input. Stated in the Mountain Times, discussions in executive sessions were held for 5 months. So says Hagenbarth and Half. Again, just briefly, to repeat myself, my concerns is the lack of transparency of the Select Board, and for the Select Board to have more open communications with the citizens of Killington. One question I have is also, will the salary of the Public Works Director be totally funded by the TIF funding? Thank you.
I'd just like to kick in that we're told that the salary of anyone that works on the TIF project can be, and it's a matter of how we put it through.
It's submitted.
Submitted. Number two, I'd just like to correct that, Chet, when you were hired on, I don't recall a hiring committee.
No, the Select Board approached me to move from the Public Works side to the town manager's role.
Okay, and then when Seth Webb was hired on, nobody did anything. I was on the board. I actually walked out of the meeting that day in executive session because we had told the people that we weren't hiring a new town manager at that time. But I took hell for it in the newspaper because I got up and left the executive session. So the town has 2 times in the last 12 years hired, 12 to 15 years, has hired on a town manager without. As far as a lack of transparency, I believe that we have been wide open on TIF and any discussions, and I believe that when the article came out in the Mountain Times and the Rutland Herald about Burlington's failing on some of their TIF stuff or whatever, we were asked by the citizens to make sure, and you are hiring some people on to take care of this. And in that open session, we did say that we have put funds into the budget and we are bringing other people in. And for you to move over to the public works side, I mean, this is what your background is, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's where I was working prior to being moved to town manager. And the other thing that we've talked about for probably 2 years is the fact that as part of this water system that's going to be going in, we're going to need a public works director going forward. This is not a temporary position. It's going to happen. We're going to have the most expensive water system in the state to construct, and then on top of that, we're going to have between 2,000 and 3,000 users on it, and we're going to have a full-blown department managing the water system. Then we also have 2 current sewer systems that are managed part of that, and then we have the roadway part. You know, in all towns, probably between 40 and 50% of all town manager responsibilities results in public works. The issue that's come up now is we have so much on the town manager side and so much on the public works side. It's not a one position function anymore. So the fact is breaking it up, and you know, when you talk about what's the best for the town, realistically, going over and setting up the whole public works process, overseeing the TIF project, while bringing in somebody who's going to be able to stay here for a number of years and have the ability to learn the system through the process so that there's a transition. I mean, you know, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not that far from retirement. So, you know, the reality is we've also talked about succession plans. I mean, when you look at Town Hall, it's, you know, we want to talk about aging, but you all know we had the Beaver Meadows senior living thing we did.
Let's not start joking.
Well, my point is we're going to be having a lot of turnover at Town Hall just from retirements over the next 5 years. So, you know, the goal is we're looking at succession, we're making sure we have duplication of all functions and that everybody can do this, and we move forward with a plan and a strategy that's going to work for the future.
Well said. Very well said.
Anyone else?
You got
Someone got their hand up?
Kurt.
Kurt, you're up.
Thank you for hearing my question. I noticed that the posted on the screen Select Board meeting agenda is marked amended. I printed this out 5 minutes before that's the only thing that's on, added is current expense note out reallocation.
Yeah, that was because we weren't sure we were going to get the paperwork in time from the bank, but it came basically Friday night. So we just want to make sure we do the allocation. It's part of the $2.2 million current expense note we took out a year ago. We're using the same amount of money that we've already borrowed, but we're splitting it into two things.
It's item number 11.
Yeah, we'll talk about it then, but I'm just letting you know.
I mean, it's,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was added, Kurt.
Thank you.
Okay. Is Lucretia here with liquor control?
There is no liquor tonight.
Okay. So, at this point, you want to take the lead on what's going on with the roster and transfer and all that?
Well, as part of the transfer from the corporation to the town's fire department, we've had a number of, I'm sure no one's aware, we had a number of issues come up and people leaving and coming, but we have a current roster that has been presented, and the select board and the town manager has approved this roster at this
we
point.
haven't approved that roster. That's an old roster.
Yeah. That's the old one.
That's the
Oh, I
old
brought
one.
the wrong one up, sorry about that. There it is, sorry about that. And our new chief, Paul Ginther, starts on July 10th.
Can you click the box out so we can?
And these are the firefighters and EMTs that we have currently on our roster. We have 21, even though it says 22, the count was actually 21 active members and 7 probationary. So currently, that's the status of the fire department roster. And I don't know if we're going to go through anything specific or if there's any questions or...
So on this list that I keep on reading in the paper and hearing that we don't have a staff to go out to calls. There's 29 or 28, if you take away the one that you were saying, on this list or whatever. That's more than I've seen in the past. Just to give an update, 2.5 years ago, we were approached by the then fire chief, not getting into names, just then fire chief, saying that they could not make they couldn't make all the calls, that they were down to about 6 to 8 people making the calls at that time. And that's all it was. There's 29 people here. I think, how many people in this room are on that list? Just raise your hand.
Most of the room.
Most of the room. And I'd like to say thank you for joining or staying or whatever, and this is the roster that we approved as a board. When I look at it, just go back to it, because I know one of the other things is we have EMS on here, we have 1, 2, there's 2 on here that says AEMT, Advance, okay? And I believe there's a couple, when we were here last Tuesday night for the fire department meeting, because of us accepting Chris Lahart's resignation. He was not fired. He put in his resignation, and we accepted it. I think there was a few of you folks that were going for your A in the EMT. Is that true? Can those raise their hand that don't have A yet, but are going forward to it?
2.
So we got 2 more back there on top of this here. So I would just, since we're on PEG TV,
Yeah.
we're being recorded, and Kurt's here, this town has a fire department, and we have people ready to make the calls. I noticed last night around 10 o'clock or 10:30, I saw our first response vehicle going up the road when I was heading out. So calls are being taken care of. I'd like to say thank you to everybody that's here.
Second item is the asset transfer agreement, which was forwarded to the fire department earlier this week, or last week. And it includes all of the original pieces which were the names, the money related to the sign, and the money related to the Top Ridge development that was going to be transferred to used for the public safety building, as well as the items that were considered non-operational from the search and rescue group. And we have included those in there, and we are awaiting any comment or response from
does
the
that go
existing
to?
fire department. It went to the corporation,
Who in the corporation?
Dave Kopic and Steve Feiner.
Okay, great. Are there any issues with it at this point?
I'm not aware of any at this point. I haven't had a response. I know they have an attorney involved too, so I'm not sure where.
So this is something that was done long before any chief was hired on.
Yep.
This was the original agreement here.
This is the final piece of the original agreement that was signed on December 22nd, with all the same basic information.
Okay, so I also know that there's a bunch of stuff on here for the Killington, for the fire and rescue, the SARS thing or whatever. You say there is no kind of feedback back yet or whatever. Can you just read off to us Mr. Kopeg's text or email that he sent to you?
There it is. An email I got early in June was, Chet, if you want to, it says, here's the deal, as the reference. Chet, if you want to use Sherburne Volunteer Fire Department's Inc.'s gear for the 4th of July celebration, you'll have to give us back some of our gear, period.
Okay, so the town has done what? We went out and we've rented from,
We've rented the tent from Celebrations. We also have rented one grill. We have one grill being provided. And we have all of the equipment we need and the donations of the food, plus we just we're picking up the last of the food stuff tonight.
okay. So I just want to make it clear that, we're not here nobody's hostaging us. I'm not being held hostage over something. We move on. We got the equipment, we're having a 4th of July, and, the deal was, they came to us, they wanted us to take over their fire department because they couldn't handle it. We drew up all this stuff, and this is just another thing that they're supposed to sign. If they don't sign it, they don't sign it. We move on.
Good question out there.
You had a question?
Stephen?
Just a correction, the funds were not for Top Ridge.
They were for the fire department from the Top Ridge development.
No, it was the Sunrise,
Oh, Sunrise.
I just,
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
no.
My mistake. I thought it was Top Ridge.
It was
Actually,
$5,000 for each unit being sold on Top Ridge.
You have it correct in the writing,
Yep. Okay.
so-called Sunrise at Fairmount.
Just something to add to the 4th of July stuff.
Mark, okay?
Just would like to
Mark
say,
Fiore.
yeah, just would like to say, what's that?
Just so they know who's
Oh,
talking.
Mark
in the
Fiore.
first-
Who was talking?
Just would like to say thank you to David Gouchberg. He has donated his grill to the 4th of July and is letting us use that as well.
Great.
You looking for this?
I just gave you my last one. So, one more question.
Someone else that?
So Dave Kopic from
Okay.
President of the Corporation, and yeah, it's true, we wanted to have a discussion, we wanted to have a give and take when it comes to use of our stuff for the 4th of July and the gear that was formerly KSAR's. What we have done in the period of time since the old chief has moved on is that we have reformed under Rescue Inc. out of Brattleboro. We now have insurance through them. We're providing the region, the town, the state with the same search and rescue expertise and reliability that we always have. And we are costing the town absolutely nothing. Going forward, it will cost nothing. Incurring no cost at all. All we are asking is that we get the gear that we had formerly so that we can continue doing our job as well as possible. So far, the town has not wanted to make that deal. They have not wanted to give us all of that stuff. They wanted to give some of the stuff, and that's great, but we feel that we deserve to get as much as we need to do our job as well as possible, and we're very good at it. We've proven that in over 10 years. So what our position is that give us the gear that we want, and you can have the 4th of July stuff, anything you want. It's just,
I just want to say, wow, conversation over. We already have the 4th of July tent, and we already have the firework, we have the tents and we have the barbecues. The town will have a 4th of July, and if a group wants to continue to do that, then, so we don't need it. So let's move on to the next thing. Search and rescue alignment.
The search and rescue alignment, one of the things that's come up as an opportunity is, typically search and rescue is a state police function, and it falls under the police. And I know when search and rescue was originally proposed to the town, it was from the police side, and the recommendation to have it move back to the police department and be managed through them is up for a proposal. We're proposing this to the select board to accept moving the search and rescue team to underneath the guidance of the police department.
That goes back-
And the state currently manages it for the state, on the
Yeah.
state side too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the state, it's a coordination with the local groups, and it is state statute that they have to notify the local, whether it's fire department or police department, because of things that have happened in the past. They actually put it in statute.
Does that give us two groups?
Should I comment on it?
One that's through the fire department and one that's with Rescue Inc.?
No, it'll just,
We're not working
Give us
with
two.
Rescue Inc.
I'm just asking.
I'm just answering.
Yeah.
We're not we have a search and rescue group. As far as I'm concerned, we have a search and rescue group. Whit is here. You're one of the original people that started the search and rescue, or KSAR, some 2011 or 12, I think.
Yeah, it was originally started back then by a friend of mine, 3 of us, to fill a need and a void that was going on specifically in the backcountry. And it was quite successful at the time. We built the program to be very successful with some great trainings. And around 2013, I left to focus on the police department. And then the department went underneath the fire department, where it remained until recently. So the select board asked me to come forward and take responsibility and have the KSAR, Killington Search and Rescue, come underneath the purview of the police department. There's a specific statute that kind of deals with the search and rescue in Vermont, and for those on PEG and for Kurt, it's Title 20, and it starts at Section 1820, and it goes on and it talks about missing persons and lost persons in the backcountry and wilderness, and it's specifically under Subchapter 2, Search and Rescue. And I'm not going to read all this because it goes on, but I will read some stuff because didn't memorize it all, number one, but it's pretty pertinent to tonight's discussion. So search and rescue, to report of a person missing response. Number one, the law enforcement agency taking a report of any person missing in the backcountry, remote areas, or waters of the state shall, which is the key word, immediately respond, which is key, and take immediate action to locate the person reported missing, and, of course, notify the Department of Public Safety. The Department of Public Safety is the one who oversees search and rescues in the backcountry. Any other public service agency or non-public entity, like fire departments and other private entities, says may respond. So law enforcement kind of makes sense as the best home for this here in Killington. With our town growing, of course, mountain biking, hiking, backcountry skiing and stuff, it's really probably the most expedient way to go right through the police department. We get the calls a lot of times first. Seconds or minutes, minutes or hours. The quicker we get the response and the phone call, the quicker we can notify our team members and get out there to start a search. With that said, we're open to other resources that are out there. We're going to work with all agencies and mutual aid system. The nice thing about Vermont, it being rural, but also you have mutual aid. So a lot of times fire departments, rescue departments, search and rescue departments, police departments, kind of rely on our partners in surrounding towns and communities, including fire departments and including search and rescue. So just because Killington KSAR is back up and going, doesn't mean we're not going to reach out to our partners that are also, providing the same type of service when needed.
So do you need a motion for the KSAR to be moved underneath the police department? I make a motion that KSAR is moved underneath the police department tonight. Give it a second.
I would second that.
Didn't that happen when we
So
first?
let me ask.
History, wait, yeah.
No, it's the history is that it was supposed to go underneath the police department, but it went underneath the fire department. And it's been underneath the fire department, not the police department, since
So this
when
is
you
to
went
go to
into the
police.
police, right, in
Yeah,
2013?
13.
This is to go to police.
This is go to the police, so.
Anything further? Patrick Cushing. Got your hand up.
Hey, guys. I just had a question if operationally, anything would be different, or if it just goes through different chain of command to the state?
We're still gonna do, it won't be much different, we're still gonna do joint trainings, we're still gonna be, using each other's resources, utilizing both the, men and women on both the fire, rescue, and KSAR and police. Operational, it'll come underneath the purview of the police department, which will be me, and then I'm probably gonna do executive session at some point and make some recommendations on appointing a, kind of a director to help me with the organization of the program.
So really, this is more of a structural change than any kind of functional change.
Correct.
So it makes for a better flow, quite honestly.
Yeah,
All in favor of Jim's motion, please say aye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say that back in March, there was a meeting here, a select board meeting, where state SAR coordinator, search and rescue coordinator, Drew Clymer came, and he gave us a ringing endorsement because he knows we're good at what we do and have been for 10 years. Also, Lieutenant Anthony French of the state police, he is chief of the state police search and rescue team, has worked closely with us and has let us lead searches in this area because he trusts us. He knows how good we are in the backcountry in all aspects, land navigation, medical, search. We are respected statewide. I'm just going to reiterate that it seems like redundant to have more than one search and rescue team serving the town, the region, when it's just going to be confusing and unnecessary and expensive to the town of Killington. You're going to incur costs to the town of Killington, not only for insurance, but gear, training, and so forth, and went unnecessarily, because you already have that resource here and now with us.
I think we have people that are interested in doing it, and if you're interested, I would say join with WIT.
We won't do that, but.
Okay, that's your personal move.
Okay, but what I'm saying
Okay,
is.
it's personal and
Sure.
how we
Okay.
run it, so.
And we will work together,
I think,
certainly.
I think the town of Killington has a KSAR, it's underneath the police department, and this board is here to make sure that the residents have protection, and this board feels that we have the proper, and once again, to the volunteers that are here, thank you, that are on the department, and how fast will you have people onto this KSAR
We have
unit?
members now. We have 7 that are solo trained in wilderness emergency medicine and certified in wilderness first aid. We also have, once we get up and going, we have a wilderness EMT who'll be on board as well. He needs to hang his hat underneath the fire department rescue side of things for his cert there. I had a nice conversation with Anthony French today. He's lieutenant with the state police. He oversees search and rescue. Left a message for Drew Clymer. We've also reached out to other resources, Killington Mountain Bike Club, Killington Ski Patrol, and a number of other local agencies. So they're all on board. They realize we're up and coming again, and it's going to be, it benefits. We all have to remember, it's not about us. It's not about egos. It's about benefiting what's best for the citizens, and the visitors to our community, as well as the citizens that live here. And the outside world doesn't care what's going on internally with people butting heads. So we're rising above that. We're driving on. It's going to benefit everyone. We're going to reach out to local resources. If we need backup and assistance, we'll call Rescue Inc., we'll call whoever it is. It doesn't matter. And, there's very good skilled members part of that program for sure. We have very good skilled program, members on our program as well. So it's a benefit to everyone.
Well said, thanks.
Patrick, you still have your hand up, or you put it down?
No, I'm just not good at putting it down.
Okay. We'll move on to the city
Tired,
sign.
it's a tired hand.
City sign proposal.
So on the public safety signs and region signs, we have a little spreadsheet here that gives you the culmination of all the papers you have behind it, which actually show you the pictures. This is the proposals. Basically, the final proposal for the public safety building sign, it's about $15,900 for the sign itself and about $13,000 for the electronic portion of it, for a total of $28,889. As we did this as part of the original construction, the signs that were proposed were all running between $40,000 and $50,000. So we have a thing.
We budgeted for that.
We budgeted for that.
Okay.
And we have, basically, this is upon approval, and, you know, I'm more bringing it to the select board, so, you know, they see where we are and all that, but once approved, this will be a 7 to 9 week installation. I have the same lead time issued for the electronic sign, so, in, you know, the next 9 to 10 weeks, we would have our completed sign with electronics in place.
Do we have a picture to share with?
Does this also include the concrete work, the base?
Does not include the base, that's the part
Okay.
that's not in there for a
Okay.
price.
Is the region sign the ones coming into town?
Yeah, this
The one at the bottom, the one at the bottom of the road.
We're keeping the base of the sign, correct, or?
This one? This one's new.
No, the one down below.
One down below, all that stays.
That all stays, we just,
Is this the electronics is going in?
Yeah. Basically, what happens with that sign, which is this sign, it's sideways.
wrong way.
You'll notice that where you see the electronic portion of the sign, there's 2 posts under it. Basically, it's not going to be attached to the existing structure. We're going to put 2 new posts in just to carry the electronic
Is the
portion.
far one on the right? Flip it. No. No. Yeah, clockwise, 90 degrees or whatever. So hit OK.
that's
and
electric
see
one there,
what
right?
does.
Or it's gonna be electric.
There you go.
Look at that chat.
So, basically, this sign, for the electronics portion on that one is $14,000. It's a longer span. And then to replace the sign, the main part of the name part of the sign is $16,000. So that sign would be $30,505 to
Is the
rebuild that
main
sign.
sign gone?
Yeah, they had to go back and kind of
I
screw it
know that the
together.
bottom was like,
Yeah,
I know
the
that.
whole, there's really nothing
just asking.
salvageable at this
So
point.
what about on the top piece where the?
The frame right now is good, and they're gonna be repainting it.
But above that,
We need to
there
put
was
that
the
metal
sheet
back
metal or
on.
whatever?
Yeah, the sheet metal will be going back on.
Okay.
Doesn't rot out. And then you have a picture of the sign for out in front of this public safety building? You're gonna have to do the same thing.
Clockwise. So there.
I thought that's what that thing was.
Yeah, well, I knew you could rotate it, but because it was 3 pages, I didn't know how that was gonna work.
Is
So-
the part underneath going to be bigger? That first word is supposed to be great.
Yeah, well, that's just what they did, but it fits, it's an 8 foot long, 2 feet high.
I don't think we should be talking about restaurants on it either, just not.
Yeah,
But that's the sign and the lighting system for it. And that is a sign that, technically, that would be the first one done.
I would still like to see signs on the road, though, approaching the fire station. We don't have those.
We gotta, yes, we
Fire
have to get
station
the.
ahead, fire station ahead on both sides.
The warning signs, the yellow
Yes.
ones, we gotta get
They-
those.
We have, this building says nothing about fire on it right now at all.
Okay. But this is
Need a
coming.
motion to approve these two?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the public safety building sign and the Killington region sign.
Okay,
Second.
anything further? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And the other,
So then it says new town hall, is that for a different time? We'll talk about that.
that's your information, you know, we don't have to make any of those decisions tonight. This
Right.
was the sign proposal.
Is there a design in here?
There's,
There
yes,
is.
there's designs on the, if you look on the back pages, and then there's just sketches
Why
over
we have so
pictures.
much wood and wood.
It's basically, that's the whole thing.
We had Sparky here for a while.
We had Sparky. And then you, also in the other section is the amenity signs, these are the replacement signs for that. Again, not something we have to order tonight, I wanted to get it all to you, because I had it all new.
Yeah.
I would like to review this.
Yes.
Just
No.
from a design standpoint,
Yep.
of really what we're looking at.
Because the issue there is we got to get state permission, and that's also where one of the directional signs is, so we need to talk a little bit about how we're going to do that one.
Yep. I would like to table that.
Yeah, these were not
No,
necessarily
it's
for
okay.
approval tonight.
I just want discussion.
Yep.
Killington Forward.
Just an update on the Killington Forward project. We are currently, we have received bids for what's called the Phase 1 road of Killington Road, which is the section from Route 4 to Anthony Way. And they came in basically on budget. It's about a $2.6 million section of road. There's a lot of blasting and things of that nature. We have issued notice of award for the Phase 1 to 3A section of the water line, which is from behind the Mountain Times where the well house is, up to the tank, up to and including the tanks. And that came in a couple $1 million under budget. And we're rated around 20 million for that
You
section.
want to tell them where the tanks are?
The tanks are up technically about 1,000 feet off of East Mountain Road behind Edgemont and
No, I
Fall
know,
Line
we
back
know.
in
Here's
there.
right a snow shed
Yeah.
behind Edgemont.
Yeah, it's back in there. So that's where the 750,000 gallon tank is. And we've already done a notice of,
You can take that off. We don't have to keep that email up there.
oh, I didn't mean to. We are basically at a place where we've already done the notice to award for that, and with the final couple of documents that are coming in between the developer and the permits, we'll be issuing a notice to proceed in July for that project to start. And that's basically a 2-year project to get all of that work done.
That will be later July, third week or whatever.
Yeah, 3rd or 4th week of July is when we anticipate giving a notice to proceed. So they will start working on the 2 buildings and the crossing of Route 4. That's a directional bore, so there won't be digging up the road and moving along with these processes. All the permits, wetlands and all that stuff is in place, and we're in a good place to get going, and that project is off and running. And we're starting to work on the next section of contracts after that as to how we're going to.
And the numbers are coming in under.
Yeah, basically, the numbers are coming in where we expected them to, and if you look at the total, we're still a couple $1 million under.
Public Works is going to be busy.
Public Works is going to be very busy. So that's where we are on the TIF.
And is there anything about when Killington's going to start with their parking lots? Because they
They're-
need those in before they can do anything else.
They're getting back to us sometime in August, so
Okay.
they're working on that plan. I think Great Gulf, Wednesday is in town, and they're going through a whole bunch of stuff, and they're meeting up with VHB.
No, they just know
Yeah.
that the state requires them to add a parking space for everyone they take away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the one amendment item, like I had mentioned earlier, was a $2.2 million.
We're gonna set tax rates.
Set tax
Oh, we're
rate.
doing that next? I did it back.
Skip that?
I skipped that.
Skip time.
Nice going.
Okay.
Well, everybody would have liked if we skipped that.
Yeah, we don't have a tax rate.
Well, it's
So we have our
under the estimate.
final numbers. Yes, we came in under again. Basically, the municipal tax rate, we have $4,367,100 to be raised by taxes that's in the budget. Our grand list, as of 6/22, is $8,022,474, and the tax rate calculation is dividing the general fund budget into the
Grand list?
grand list, and our tax rate this year is .544, 3 fours. Last year was .5436, and our predicted for this year was .5472, so we did a little bit better than anticipated. We also don't have the final numbers from the state, because they had, everybody knows our CLA was .616, so that raises our rate pretty good. And then there was 3 items, I think, on the ballot from the Woodstock School that we're going to add to that a little bit, so we're waiting to get that number, hopefully in the next couple days.
So just one correct, it's the grand list divided into the general fund budget to be raised by.
I said it backwards, I realized that
No,
after I said it.
raised, I'm not getting on, raised by because our budget is higher than this.
Yeah, no, it's the part to be raised by taxes, right.
So, I'll make a motion to approve the .5444. You really don't have a say on this guy, it's
It's just a division
Just simple
problem.
math. Yep. Okay, and there's really nothing to discuss.
There's nothing, but I think it was a lot of work well done by you guys and all of us trying to keep the rate down based upon the fact that we know we're going to get killed on the state side.
And Lisa did a great job bringing in a lot of grants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did. All in favor of approved motion for .5444, please say aye.
Aye.
Now, for the third time, I'll bring up the reallocation. Basically, last year, we had taken out a $2.2 million current expense note to take care of all of the TIF expenses and the design work that we were working on. We did not use a lot of that. Basically, today, we're rated about $1.5 million. We will be funding that at the end of July with a bond anticipation note, which is what we had planned. The current, using only $1.5 million, and the fact that we are buying the affordable housing land on July 7th, we needed to make sure we had $700,000 for that, and we have the $1.5 million for the current expense note for the TIF, so that is where our $2.2 million is being reallocated, the split between those two. The $1.5 million will be paid on July 28th, which is why we have a 2.8% rate, and 4.4 on the $700,000 portion.
2.8 is nice.
So the reality is this is, you know, it really is just a reallocation of funds we were already approved, and we're trying to maximize what our ability to have money available for current expense for the bond anticipation as we start incurring expenses for the construction, because we won't be funded for whether it's bond or USDA probably till March. So these are bond anticipation notes that we're taking out to make
Which
that
were
work.
approved in the voters' vote in March.
Right, when the voters voted in March for the $47 million, this was all included. I believe it was it 10 million or 20 million that was on the bill? 20, that we could do in short-term financing. So right now, we anticipate only using the 8.4, and it helps us stay in a lower tax percentage. We get a better rate if we stay under the 10 million, and that's the goal between the 1.6 for the new town hall and the 8.4. If we stay under that.
This is one of
we're
your
gonna-
new jobs too, right?
Yep.
Come August 14th,
Exactly.
following this?
Yes.
Following the money.
Chasing the money. So that's where this is.
So there's no vote on this, this is just an FYI.
Well, you have to, no, you actually have to make a
Yes.
motion
Oh, okay.
authorizing the change from the 2.2 to the 1.5, and we add the interest rate in there, because that one's 2.85, and then, in your motion, and then the other motion is for the $700,000 at the 4.4.
So we're making a motion for a current expense note of $1.5
million to replace the
to replace the 2.2 at
2.85%.
2.85%. The second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm making a motion for a $700,000.
4.4.
At 4.4.
It's a one-year current expense note, but we know we'll be making that changeover before the year is out.
Correct.
Yep. Great. Second. Make a motion? Second.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have the agenda.
It's just the managers, and basically, just so everyone knows, well, as crazy as this sounds, got a call about a week ago from Caterpillar that the grader we didn't really want to have for a year just came in. So we either have to let it go and order another one. And at this point, because of the timing of the money, we weren't planning to be purchasing it in August. We're going to let that one go and go to the next one.
I would
Because of
too.
timing perspective. So it just came out of the blue and didn't expect it. But we did start.
That's going to happen more in the future.
Yeah, it's starting to catch up here and there.
It is.
So we're in a good place there. And we started mowing today, which will make most people happy, and we're going to have, we always do Killington Road and River Road first, so we're good for the 4th, but we're starting a little late because weather and everything else has been going.
New mower's
So,
working great.
Mowers were working great.
They had 2 mowers on 100 on my way up.
Yeah.
It was not great.
Line striping was supposed to start this week.
Yeah,
You just
we're
keep
going to
telling
get
me.
rained out. We're not getting any, no weather
That's why.
cooperation whatsoever. And, you know, and the rec department camps opened up, and we are pretty much full at this point, and it's going well so far.
It was packed down there today.
Yes, it was.
It
I
was,
saw that when I came
So it's,
by.
Wow.
things are going well. And the other item, the 2 members of the KPAA, Beth and who's that other guy? Brought a proposal to the town related to the trails brochure, and if you guys want to make your pitch, it'd be great.
Can you speak to it, Mike?
state your name, please, sir.
Mike Coppinger, I'm the vice chair of the Killington Peckville Area Association.
Esther Andrea, president of the KPA.
So the town had, for many, many years, put together a great hiking brochure that was available at the town office, at the rec department, and at the Welcome Center. And I think it's been about 2 years now that it has not been produced. So it is, in the time that I worked at the Welcome Center, it was one of the top things that people, besides wanting to go to the bathroom, it was one of the top things that people always asked for. So we're asking you today to help with the funding to put this back into publication. And you, I believe you received a letter, correct?
Yeah, we received this, I already read it. 2,500 maps is 2,900. Double the amount of maps is an extra $650. I think that's a no-brainer
It
to go
is.
for 5,000 maps.
Just how many did you produce last time, do you guys know?
It was 2018, I think, so. it was,
And how many did you produce, 2,500?
There's a more than that.
No, I think it was around the 5,000, but that did span into 2 years' worth. We were able to get
Yeah, because that wasn't 1 year, I remember that. It
Correct.
wasn't 1 year.
So now that was the full out with Deer's Lead, like,
Correct, and it does have bike maps on here as well in the back, but what we need to do is expand on that, because we only had this small little section here before, and there was Pine Hill in there as well, but now we could put in Gifford. I mean, I have a couple ideas of how we can
so
restructure
is that what
it.
I'm getting at, is that gonna, I read that part about aerial bikes, is that gonna jump the price up of what we're approving? It's gonna be adding more pages? And I was just gonna give a little, you know, you put like that where there is some bike things, but maybe get the barcode to work something with the amount of times, to switch them
100%.
right over to grip.
Yep.
And then the people can pull up all the maps all over of all the bike places from the grip magazine,
Agreed.
Yeah.
you know?
So you're going to
Great idea.
update it
Yes.
as to
That is the
reflect
plan,
current?
yes.
Okay.
And when we brought it to Boss, we also told him that we would, that we wanted to make some updates to it. So that price was for the, including the
Okay.
Any design work, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'll make a motion to approve the KPAA's
5,000.
proposal for 5,000. This is
5,000 maps.
5,000 maps. This was actually going on in the rec department, talking about this, and in the planning commission. So they've got funds and,
Yep.
so split it between the two. They got the, planning has that one fund.
Special projects.
Special
Special
project,
project.
this would be a special project.
Yep.
Oh, and I did not mention the part about special projects when I was talking about the notes.
Well, let's get this vote
Yeah, let's
through.
get
Okay, but I just want to, I want to bring that,
So Mike doesn't think we're delaying his yes. I made
Or
a
something
motion
gets
to
added to
approve.
I'll second that.
Do you need to add anything else?
So we'll have the bill to go directly to the town, correct? This isn't a reimbursement to us, it's going
Yeah.
directly to you. Yep. Perfect.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you have a timeline for when they'll be able to do this?
Soon, after the wine festival.
I would think that it would be probably ready by next summer or fall, summer.
Well, we'd like to have it, we'd like to have
Planning on
it,
this summer.
yeah, later this summer.
Okay.
so just the back up for just 1 second. Speaking of the special projects fund, we used $50,000 related to the new town hall and $70,000 to the land. Both of those are being refunded as part of this to go back into the special projects fund. So that money is still available for use. So just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
For letting us use it.
Yes.
Okay. What do we have left? Additional citizens input. So, I don't see anybody up there. Is there something else someone wants to bring up? That we did not go over? Oh, Mark was just saying that. He was just waiting to.
Did you want executive session for personnel at
Yeah.
this point?
Yep.
You mentioned earlier? Please. So I'm going to make a motion at 7:20 to go into executive session.
Just before we did.
No,
Patrick raised his
They're
hand.
doing it
Just-
again.
It just went up before we went in.
All right.
Patrick, go ahead.
Come back for citizens input.
Ask the question.
Thank you, guys. Just a quick question I know you're talking about before. Is the new head of department works position that's funded out of TIF for now? And then eventually it'll get rolled into a budget in the future? Is that how it's structured?
I mean, yeah, the intent is as much as possible to have this position funded by TIF, and we're also going to be having, once the water system starts to connect to people, we're going to be having operations and maintenance and all of those pieces that are going to be also paying some money to the town for that. It is going to be a long-term budgeted position. This is not a temporary position just for TIF.
Steve's text.
At some point here, Patrick, the Public Works, this position may be the person overseeing the whole water system of some 2,000 or 3,000 units being hooked up to it.
Sewer systems.
And that would fall underneath the people that are on it for O&M. There's a chat going on,
Okay.
I don't know what's in there.
We got a road being built for the next 5 years.
Well said.
Okay.
Cool, thank you.
So I just don't want you to get lost on, the full Public Works will not be budgeted, will not be refunded, because it's only stuff that's equivalent to TIF.
Right.
You will be doing some other work.
Oh, we're
that
still
is
going to be doing
not-
the roads, bridges,
Right.
all those pieces will still be
Sorry,
taking
Hans.
place.
Are you going to executive session and moving the second citizen input?
We just called second citizen.
We just
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're the one calling it, not me.
If you can, you want to
Well,
let
these guys heard it.
Don't argue with me.
Do you have something?
I do.
Okay.
I'm Steve Feiner. I would like to just make some comments and ask some questions. One, I understand that we received a bill, the corporation received the bill for the monument out front, and the town received their portion, just making sure that that's all set.
Well, I think we were together because we actually changed it by $240 each.
We changed it.
Right, and then and the check went off that same week.
Okay, so our check went too. Just
That's all done.
That's great. There is a difference between the number of memberships of any organization and the number of people responding. And I just make that statement to be clear so that when people look at a roster and see the names, sometimes I have to ask, if somebody's working 40 hours a week at another job in another town, how much time do they have for us? That's a question. Then a statement for somebody who's not in advanced EMT at this point and they're starting it, it's almost a year's process, give or take a few months, to become an advanced EMT. Just while we talk about what coverage is available and what's coming, just so people are clear. I'm a little disappointed that the town wants to spend money on something that is being offered to them as a service, and I get all the complications, just a personal opinion as a taxpayer. I have a question. Why the fire chief, who's resigned, told Regional Ambulance Service that he did not want me or Courtney Harvey to be teaching advanced first aid and CPR to the rec department. That's just so you can check that one. Yeah, he specific, I have the writings of where
Didn't
he.
come from us.
We don't respond.
What?
It didn't come from us. I'm just saying.
I know it didn't come from you, but I'm just stating, why was he doing that? statement.
He's not, no, you
He's
said
no
it was a
longer an
question.
employee either,
He's no
so
longer
it's-
here, we can't. And I take into consideration what you're saying, that when someone's working 40 hours or whatever, but let's remember, Steve, 2 years ago, we, the select board, approached the then volunteer fire department and said we were not getting calls taken care of at night, and this select board offered $20 to $25 an hour for shifts to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, and nobody took it. So now when I look in this group here, how many people would take that this coming winter? Thank you. So,
I have one last thing. My concern about a statement made to me in a text message telling me I wasn't allowed to go into the other section of this building. Okay, told no one could go, but yet an individual took somebody and brought them and gave them a tour. Just curious about that, Chet.
Not sure who did it, I only knew.
Paul Stiles took Nicole and gave her the tour. When he told me I'm not allowed in that side of the building.
What would I,
Yeah,
what,
there's a citizen,
okay,
but you don't have to
we'll deal with that at
respond.
another time.
you don't have to,
I'm done.
we're gonna keep on going.
Don't have to follow it up.
Okay.
We're done.
Andy?
Yeah, just on the roads thing. My pet peeve is line painting, crosswalks, yellow stripes. There's going to be an accident. Someone's going to get killed on this road.
I'm with you, Andy.
So did you?
And I can tell Chad, every year I tell him the same
No.
thing. And he says, we're getting better paint. Well, we're not getting better paint. We're getting new paint. No, we're getting painted
There's
into
no better
June.
paint, I've
No,
argued
there isn't.
that.
Listen, I see what I see, and
I
it's
agree with
not
you.
right.
It's the reason we went out and worked with a contractor to buy a line striper so that we have more control. He was scheduled to start now, and weather is preventing it.
You can
Oh,
start
okay.
this is
Okay,
what
I
I
know
said
that.
earlier, maybe I wasn't talking loud. I'm trying to talk low.
No, I'm old, so I have a hearing problem.
Oh, so we bought a machine because L&D, who's from this state, would show up in October or November,
I know that.
okay? They actually gave us a bill last year for like November, right before the World Cup, when it was 20 degrees out.
What was the bill?
$23,000.
$23,000.
Okay? We did not pay it, okay? I got on the phone with L&D, not paying it, the stuff washed out. We went out, we bought a machine for about $44,000. The person that was doing our crosswalks for the last 3 years, okay, he is now taking that machine and he'll be in here once this weather dries up. He was scheduled for this week, but it's raining. He's gonna be doing the yellows, the whites, the dashes, everything,
Good,
okay?
good,
And
thank
he'll be
you.
doing it
And we can
twice.
get them done more than once a
And he's gonna
year.
do it twice a year. So by us buying the machine for the 44 or whatever,
Yeah.
he's working the, no, it would have cost us $46,000 for L&D to do it twice. So it's a
got it.
cost of making the lines done. It's just unfortunately, we would have loved to seen them out there today starting, but it rained.
Yeah, I heard about the machine last year, and I hadn't seen,
No.
anything, that's why I brought it up today.
It's,
Well, thank you.
we got it.
Good.
The paint's delivered to the town garage.
I think that's where they delivered it.
Yeah, there's like a couple 55-gallon containers down there. So, with that, we're going into executive session at 7:28. Out of executive session at 7:44. Turns out there is no action taken. So I'm going to ask for, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn at 7:45.
Okay. In favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you all.